that 2 o'clock at midnight, he is coming back from their vehicle had banged, and these two young people were dead. So now it's a UN officer from Zambia and a neighboring country. And now local people are very angry. People have got together. I saw a crowd about maybe 50 or 100 people.
Hi, you're listening to Rocklaz Radio,
a podcast discussing inspiring personalities and interesting things.
I am host Laura Ginberga
with the co-host and producer Tanmay Shah.
Tanmay is India-based NFT artist and entrepreneur with diverse business experience.
Laura is a London-based visual artist, entrepreneur, and fashion model from Latvia.
This podcast is self-sponsored and recorded from two different places, Europe and South Asia.
The best way to support this show is to buy our art, NFTs, and to share this episode on your socials and with your friends.
Quote, "Don't carry your rank on your shoulders, carry in the hearts of the people." Our guest for today's Rocklaz Radio episode is a third-generation Army officer and veteran, Yash Mor. He was awarded the Sena Medal and Army Chief Commendation Card for gallantry during counter-terrorist operations in South Kashmir. Major General completed a Master's of Science in Defense and Strategic Studies from Madras University and Master's in Defense Studies from National University Dhaka, Bangladesh. Masters of Philosophy and PhD Nuclear Doctrine and Strategy from Osmania University, Hyderabad. He is alumnus of the NISA Center, Washington, D.C., a prestigious U.S. think tank on strategic affairs. He has been often invited to speak at many military and civil establishments on leadership and motivation. He was a key peacekeeper in United Nations representing India for a year. He is the CEO of Save the Himalayas Foundation, an NGO dedicated to preserving the fragile ecology of the Himalayan region. Yash Mor is an educator on Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform in the country, in personal social responsibility. He's a fitness enthusiast. He's a motivator, TEDx speaker, author, editor, and life coach. His articles have been published in leading journals, newspapers, and web-based news portals. His YouTube has 67,000 subscribers. I am thrilled to have you today with us, Major General Yash Mor.
Thank you so much, Laura. What a privilege for me to be, taking part in this amazing program with you and Tanmay. My privilege. Wonderful to be here with you all.
So, sir, Jai Hind, kya haal hai? As you say, how are you today?
तन्मय बिल्कुल एकदम बढ़िया है. Very good.
Okay, great. Sir, let us begin by hearing the war cry of your battalion.
My battalion war cry is Khushki Watari. Bol Khushki Watari. That is by land or sea. We can capture anything. That is a war cry of my unit, which is the oldest infantry battalion in the subcontinent, raised in 1762.
Wow, it's amazing to see all your videos, and me and Laura are totally excited for today's episode. Sir, we would like to begin with asking questions from your personal life. So, what is your morning routine? What time do you wake up, and how has it changed over the years?
By and large, nothing much has changed since I was in a military school and then in the army. And now, of course, this fear of going for a PT or that is not there. So I get up on my own time. But I have to take my dog, whose name is Ozzy Moore, who is our dog. I have to take him out for a walk in the morning. Then I try and go for cycling. I have picked up cycling just about a year and a half back, because now running is no longer an option for me. Doctors have said, put your knees in the preservation mode. So no more road running. So I've switched over to cycling now. So I go for cycling around the blocks here, sometimes 10 kilometers, 20, 30. And now as the weather opens up, maybe, and I find some good partners, maybe go and do a 40, 50, 60, or maybe 100. So I do this, come back, quickly change. Then I'm at my study room is like my office, my study, my temple, whatever you call it. I come and sit here, and then I'm teaching on Unacademy, which is India's largest learning platform. I'm an educator there. So I take 1 to 2 sessions there. Then at the moment, Tanmay, I'm mentoring over 1 lakh youth across the country, even from abroad, mentoring them, guiding them, coaching them, whatever you may call it. So a couple of hours I do that. Then time to take my dog out for evening walk. Then maybe walk with my wife. Then I'm dinner, and we have both of us play a game of ludo or something on the phone, and hit the bed. I have very deep sleep. I just don't get up once I sleep till the next day morning. So fairly busy, but I love this second innings, the kind of routine, the engagement with young people, with educators, TV studios, and people wanting to take a bite, hear from me, especially on the things that are going on. So I read, I write. A book of mine is under publication very soon on leadership. There's so much to do. It's been the busy days, but I love it. I love this routine.
That's amazing to hear, sir. And for those who don't know, sir has done a 7,000-kilometer bicycle ride in a very short time. So, sir, how does one motivate themselves for the fitness and getting up and doing some workout? And what workout tips would you share?
तन्मय, मैं कहता हूँ फिटनेस ना, it is inborn, and this is a quality this one has to cultivate, because we need fit India, we need fit people on roads, we need fit people in office, we need fit people everywhere. So I have, from the beginning, right from school days, then college and army, I have maintained a very balanced, healthy diet, no smoking at all, social drinking only, in spite of being from the military, social drinking only. Then very regular with sports. I've been a sports enthusiast. I played hockey, I played football, I played handball at the national level. Basketball, I played seriously till I was a brigadier, 1 star general. I've been playing basketball, then cycling, and done a lot of boxing in school, and broke my nose also in academy. So done fairly everything. So that enthusiasm of a sportsman, and this thing to do every day, keep something or the other. So I keep saying ki you must take out half an hour or 1 hour of every day, whatever age, whatever profession you are, for fitness. It is like charging your battery. It's wonderful to do something early morning, or not even early morning, even in afternoon, anytime, anywhere. Fitness, that is what I advocate.
Thank you, sir. Sir, how was it? You have been third generation army officer. How was it growing up in an army family? What? How was your childhood? What did it? How did it brought you up? How was your mentality growing up? And how was your relation with your father and mother?
A lot of questions, Tanmay. Let me see if I can go in a sequence. I am born in a village. Okay, I'm not born in a hospital. I'm born actually in village, in my house. My father was a soldier. He was a soldier in the army, same regiment as mine, that is Brigade of the Guards. So I come from a total family of farmers and soldiers. Either there's somebody's farming or they are in soldiering. So growing up initially in the village, like any village lad, running around here and there, going to the fields and doing, experiencing that tough life of being in village. But my father realized very early that to make a career and to make a brighter future, he wanted me to be an officer. So, he put a lot of emphasis on my education and my grooming initially. And very early, he put me to this Rashtriya Military School. It's a cadet college where I joined as a 10-year-old boy in a hostel in Bangalore. So that changed my life. That is where I, got into reading, into sports, into, debate, into dramatics, all-round growth. So it was wonderful. I had a good relation with my father, though he was a very, very strict father, very, very strict father he was, but very affectionate. Later years, he came very close to me. Once he had retired and I was he enjoyed seeing me rise in the ranks, from a second lieutenant, to a captain, to a major, then my stint in the United Nations, my stint abroad, then my performance in staff college in India. Bro, he was very, very proud, and he would introduce everywhere. Look at my son is a colonel. Then he visited my brigade when I was a brigade commander. And in fact, each rank that I got, I ensured my parents were there to pick me up. So we had a wonderful. My mother was, she had never been to a school. Whatever she learned was, what my father taught her, to little bit read and write. Very, very simple, humble woman. Just looking at the children and the family. So lucky to be born in a rural, rustic area. A lot of value systems, true value systems we got. So yeah, I had a fairly exciting childhood and a good schooling, and then in the army, of course, I had a wonderful time, really wonderful time.
That's amazing. My next question was on similar lines, and that was, could you open your heart and talk deeply with your parents? I'm sure it is yes, because you just mentioned that. And how was it with others, or who were people in your life whom you could open your heart and talk deeply with, apart from parents?
See, parents, it took some time. Only after I was, in college, and I had grown up, that I could discuss few subjects with them. But they were traditional parenting, where you could speak little bit to a mother, some bit. Father was always strict when he was around. We would behave, and no way we could do what our children can take chances with us. So those parents were very strict. But school, yeah, school. I had a couple of friends, and they still remain my friends. Friendship for over now 45 years. A few of them who we understood each other, lent each other shoulder when chips were down, staying away from home, and they've remained very good friends even now. And then, of course, getting married. I have a wonderful spouse. She's been a Manisha Moore, very, very supporting. In fact, half of what I achieved was not possible if this wonderful girl had not come into my life in 1988. Then onwards, of course, that purely arranged marriage, but great sport. In military, you need a spouse to, taking care of the family. And she took a lot of care of my parents, that was the best part. When I was not available, my mother would rather speak to her than me. So you can imagine in an Indian society, if a mother-in-law feels talking to her daughter-in-law nicely, that shows her upbringing. So she brought, a lot of sense into my life. So no, it was okay. Nice. I was able to speak to these people.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing that. Talking about leadership, sir, what tips would you like to share with us from your personal stories and stories that inspire you?
See, for me, leadership is walk the talk. I believed, giving moral lectures just because you wear a uniform and you have a rank. In fact, Laura mentioned that in my intro. Somewhere I have mentioned this. I've never carried my rank on shoulders. I carried it in my heart, and very quickly people realize genuine leaders, and genuine leaders are the ones required when there is a conflict, when your chips are down. In normal time, when parade and with ceremonial events, somebody coming and getting salute and all, that people will do once they're given a certain task. But when you are in insurgency prone area, when it is difficult area, when it's question of life and death, then you see the love and affection your men have for you. And I realized this when I was in thick of combat in Kashmir, in Punjab, in difficult areas, where there were always boys to ensure that I didn't come. My life was but they would ensure close protection for me without even asking or without any this thing. And that love and affection carries even today. Those boys who were with my team 20, 30 years back, I'm connected to them today. I'm connected to their children. So it's a lifelong association. I feel leadership means it should be lifelong. You make friends irrespective of what rank you have, what job you have, must make. So my teams, wherever I've been since I was a company commander, a commanding officer, a brigade commander, or a GOC, or wherever, they have always stayed with me, and I remain in touch with all of them, irrespective of what rank they held. So leadership is all about using your heart, less of your mind. Use your mind to do work. Use your heart to, when you're dealing with people, always use your heart. That's what I've learned practically on ground, being a soldier.
Amazing. Always use your heart, not your mind. I'll remember that. Sir, who are the world leaders that inspire you? Could you name three people, living or dead, with whom would you like to have conversation with?
Oh, world leaders. See, I won't name three. I'll probably name more than that. I will tell you leaders at each stage of my life, as I was growing up, because I was into reading. When I was growing up, the people who really inspired me, was Bhagat Singh, Mahatma Gandhi, and of course, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, father of our nation. And really reading them early in my school days, very inspiring it was, very inspiring it was. Then as I grew a little older, and came into the army, my first commanding officer, my mentor, I'll never forget him. He retired as a brigadier, but many things in my life took place on the way he groomed me in the initial years. Pushpinder Singh Man, a thoroughbred soldier, a great leader. So I will compare him with any world leader, in his thought process, his thinking, his ethos, his integrity, gold standard in integrity, gold standard, physical fitness, passion. So I remember him a lot. And of course, if you later on, I'm a great admirer of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, great admirer of her. What a lady! What a way, of her leadership in 71 war, even after that. And internationally, I've been a great follower of Nelson Mandela. Oh, I've been to South Africa, traveled across South Africa. I was there when the elections were taking place. I was there in South Africa those days. I saw the transformation. A great man. Then, of course, Barack Obama. I just love his swag, the way he used to walk on the stage. Great guy, great, absolutely brilliant. Something that is how one saw Barack Obama, and also I can say to some extent, if I have to, in sports, I have followed a lot of personalities in sports, a lot of personalities. Roger Federer would be one guy who's my favorite, a sports leader or a sports icon. I hope I've tried to, answer it in the best, that I
Yes,
could.
sir, that was amazing. And guys, do check out Sir's YouTube channel. He explains each concept with a real life story, and that's really amazing. Sir, what tips would you like to give us on negotiation and negotiation method?
See, in anything, I've seen Africa. I saw Mozambique. When the country was almost broken down, there's nothing, no government at all when we reached as peacekeepers in Mozambique. I've not seen this kind of poverty and this kind of dislocation of humans across both parties, Frelimo or Renamo, and one of the, you can say, ugly side of the Cold War that was fought in Africa, and we got into negotiations. I think the first thing that you need to have is a sincerity of purpose is very important. Sincerity of purpose, and the people in front ought to exhibit that. So people will try and both sides pull you this side or that side, but the ability to stay neutral, the ability to be absolutely sincere, and ability to again put your heart there and take it with passion, and keep talking to people. I think that is how in conflict zones I've seen, need to talk to people, instead of lecturing them, just listen to them. So if you have more of listening, less of talking, I think we will be able to negotiate better. People just want to vent out initially. So I've seen this in Punjab. I saw it in Kashmir, where I have immense love from people in Anantnag and that area where I served. I just use these tools, and I found people reciprocate in an amazing manner.
Thank you, sir. We'll always remember we have 2 years and one tongue, so listen more, talk less. Sir, as you're talking about your experience in UN peacekeeping in Mozambique and other areas, how was it to work with armies of different countries?
Tanmay, it was amazing. And for us, it was first experience. In fact, I never sat in a passenger aircraft when I flew from Delhi to Paris and from Paris to Maputo and landed there wearing a India on my shoulder. And, suddenly from day one, people were looking up to us. And we had a sizable amount of, local Indian community there. But more than that, we had almost 30 countries represented, including some of them so-called developed countries of first world. We also had people from Bangladesh, Pakistan, China, Portugal, Argentina, Italy, Brazil, Uruguay, uh, a lot of, and of course many African countries were there. So I found that if you're open minded, you learn a lot from others, they learn from you. And we were professionals, and I think that is what stood the Indian contingent in very good stead, that we were very sincere with our work. Our practices in Indian army are so refined, and in UN there was nobody to tell you how to do. You were just there and you start working from day one. So, firstly, we learned the language, Portuguese, uh, you know, then to talk to so many nations, and being a bigger military, bigger nation, and the kind of one I'd learned here, I think we did a wonderful job in many places where there were conflicts between the forces, or there were between the civilians and forces, between the political leadership, the police organization, or anything. uh, uh, we learned a lot from them, and we were also able to teach them or work. So it was wonderful working together. And militaries work very well with each other. That is why I keep telling people, whenever there is a fight on the borders, if the politicians stay away and tell both the militaries, यार तुम solve कर दो ये issue, solve हो सकते हैं. आधे से ज़्यादा problem border पे solve हो सकते हैं between the two armies or between the military leadership. That's what I believe.
Wow, amazing. Of course, sir, we know about your achievements in fighting terrorists in South Kashmir and the other regions. Sir, about working with international armies and UN, it must be a different experience, right? We in when we are in our country, we are serving to protect our motherland. We are fighting from behalf of one country. But I assume when you are in UN, your task is to keep maintain the peace and harmony and get coming together. So how would you compare these two experiences?
Yeah, they're totally different. They're totally different. Absolutely, it's a totally different scenario altogether. In UN, there's a lot of military diplomacy involved. A lot of military diplomacy involved, and there, because you're representing your country, so that thing is always there. कि आपकी देश की इज्जत भी आपके हाथ में है. You're not only just a military man, you're also an Indian military man. You wear India on your shoulder, you wear a tricolor on your chest, so people also look at you like that. So and there you have a charter, UN mein you have a charter, you have a mandate. So you have to remember that. And many times your boss or the person who is giving you orders is not from your army. So the military discipline now also comes in the front, that irrespective of who is the leader in that position, it's a teamwork finally. So one learned a lot there. In India, situation is different. When you are in India, people are your own people. There, the people are different. The language is different. Food is different. It's, and you're so much away from home, and there's no backup. There's no backup. Many times, as a young captain, you have to take decisions on your own in the best interest. So that way, I enjoyed my UN tenure. I was in the force headquarters at Maputo, traveled extensively in the mission area, and held the Indian flag high, and also the UN. In fact, Tanmay, this is one of the most successful UN missions ever. Most successful UN missions ever. And I think my team, we all contributed to make it successful. And Still we have, I remember those days, though long back, 93, 94, long back, but it was wonderful in an international environment.
Sir, that sounds exciting. Could you share a story from the ground mission from those days and your tenure in the UN?
Yeah, I can tell you one very interesting story. This was at uh, around 2:30 at night. I used to I those days we didn't have internet, had not come in, and communications, we were on a Motorola set, because I was handling a lot of sensitive issues in Maputo, in the capital. And though I told you, I used to run marathon and all on the beach and all that. So I used to have a sound sleep, but I used to keep my volume of my Motorola at the maximum, at night. If something happens, I should be able to respond. That sense of responsibility, SOR we call it, was at the highest level there. So at 2:30 at night, my Motorola set was buzzing. My call sign was 707070. तो मुझे कुछ लगा यार कोई मुझे कॉल कर रहा है, पहले मैंने सोचा सपने में है, बट नहीं, मेरा सेट कॉल कर रहा है. मैंने कहा यस. कहता देयर हैज बीन अ मेजर एक्सीडेंट of a regional commander of Zambian army. He was a colonel from Zambian army, and there has been accident. And I got information that a lot of local people have got together. Probably there have been some fatalities, and situation could turn very tense. And that time, mission had just been established. People also didn't know so much about UN. So without anything, I just got up, picked up my car, and reached the spot. And there, I saw the colonel. He was totally dazed. His car had met with an accident, and a young couple. It was a weekend, and weekend in Mozambique is a lot of young people are out for beer and dance, and it's the merrymaking on weekend. So at 2:30 of that 2 o'clock at midnight, he is coming back from their vehicle had banked, and these two young people were dead. So now it's a UN officer from Zambia and a neighboring country, and now local people are very angry. People have got together. I saw a crowd about maybe 50 or 100 people, and they are calling. They are telling the hospital and this ki we want the driver or the person who was. That is the time I reached, and I had picked up a little bit of a Portuguese that time. So typical Indian Army initiative. I just went there. I told the people, I have come here now. You leave it to me. You leave it to me. I went inside. The colonel was dazed, and very quickly I spoke to the higher ups, and they realized I am on the spot. The chief of staff, and he informed the force commander, and I'm sure the SRSG. Everybody was informed, and then I was dealing with the situation there at the spot. I ensured we were able to handle the people. I could handle the police, and this colonel of Zambian army, I was able to ensure he doesn't come in the hands of the people. Otherwise, we could have had a very, very ugly situation. So I said he has a diplomatic, kind of protection, and whatever happens, we will investigate. The UN will investigate, and we didn't leave it at that. Before first light, we were able to reach the families of these two children. Typical what we do in Indian Army. We reach the families, we said, yes, UN vehicle is involved, we will ensure everything. So people are amazed with our response. This was going beyond the call of duty. And then the parents of one of the girls, of one of the child, was in Beira, which is about, I don't know, 1,000 odd kilometers away. We arranged a UN flight next day. Again, not done in UN, but I pushed it. My bosses agreed this idea. I said UN has done an excellent. We have just started a mission. We can't. We have to be the human face of the UN must be shown. Exactly what I've learned in the Indian Army. Imagine we had a flight. We brought the parents there. We did a proper cremation, and the entire thing was handled in a very, very professional manner with both sides. Finally, even the media and all, whatever media we had that time, saying ki yes, the entire thing. So this I remember that being on the spot and taking charge, it just happened. So this I remember very nicely, this event.
Wow, sir, that was amazing to hear that taking the charge, going beyond um, this beyond what you are taught and being fully there and doing more than you're expected to. That's really amazing, sir. Sir, my next question is this. This is an international podcast. We have got international listeners. So, what would you like to tell about war, peace, and other issues to everybody listening in?
See, I keep telling nobody loves peace more than a soldier, we love peace more than anyone else. Others, whether on the religious spectrum or on the political spectrum, they may be praying for war, for whatever. But soldiers all across, I've even worked with Pakistanis, I've been with Chinese, I've Americans, almost all you can say in my stints abroad, I've seen interacted with officers and soldiers from all so maybe 50, 60 countries. And I realize almost all soldiers want peace and they understand the value of having peace. So war, whenever it comes, it shows its ugly head. I've never seen a war resolve any issue. I've never seen a turmoil, or an insurgency resolve any issue. It is only always by peace, always by negotiation, always by talking and listening that you resolve, issues. And in today's time, there's just no scope. That age is gone of nations going to war and fighting for land or you know that is gone. So we do need militaries because we have insecurities all over. We need forces, but they are for deterrence. They should be used only for deterrence and also to be used whenever the respective nations require. Use them for military diplomacy. I told you, military people make great diplomats. Not many people, diplomats don't like it when I say this, but military men, because we see so much of conflict, we see bloodshed, we see homes where death has occurred or accidental, or people turning towards a gun culture and all that, and what happens to the families they leave behind. So war is never a solution. And world getting flatter because of internet, and all that. We should be having more peace now. So as a soldier, that is all I can say.
Thank you, sir. Relating to this, sir, I know you have written articles on this. What are your views on Israel and Palestine?
See, on Israel and Palestine, my view is that so many years now, 1948 to this, almost 75, 74, 75 years, Israel has been in existence. And yeah, but on the other side, I've seen the condition where Palestinians, the way they live, it's two different worlds in such a small place. uh, Many times when peace was almost there, it has been there so many times, there's somebody or the other who doesn't want peace. Whereas people on both sides, I'm sure they want peace. So on the Palestinian side, when I look at Hamas, the military wing, they take a beating, but they again prepare for the next assault or next conflict. On this side, when I see the Israeli hardliners, I see them also, always ready to itching for a fight or small thing. This last one which took place, this could have been easily avoided. Easily could have been avoided. The incidents that took place and how it slowly in 2 3 days resulted into bombings and firing missiles, and you have scores of people dead, properties destroyed. So I think both sides, we need statesmanship, we need sagacious leadership, to remove this culture of hate, remove this culture of insecurity, because you can't defy geography. You have neighbors, you will remain as neighbors. And so I think so there is scope for a lot of scope on both sides to tone down the rhetoric and zingoism and hardline and come to a common ground. I think it will serve good for that region.
Sir, I will ask about nuclear strategy. Why PhD in nuclear strategy?
Laura, actually, this interest in nuclear field started sometimes in 2005 when I read this book, The Dragon Strike, where there's a fictitious account of a war in which starts with India, China, then Pakistan gets involved. It's a fictional account, but very interesting, and where he takes it to a level where a nuclear strikes take place, and how so that was very intriguing. I enjoyed reading that book. And then 2005 I started reading a bit about nuclear strategy. I read Jan Sundarji's books, our ex-chief who had written about this. I read about you know other aspects of and then India had done 1998 our second nuclear testing. Before that 74. And so I got intrigued in this subject. I started reading more about it. Then I got posted to the Defense Services Staff College, Wellington. And now as a teacher, now to teach young students. There I volunteered to take on this subject and mentor 15 to 20 student officers who wish to do research in nuclear strategy, nuclear doctrine, and all this. And in India, this is an issue studied professionally on NFU and concept of deterrence. And so I got intrigued in that. So then I decided to I did my MPhil initially in 2008 and 9 on nuclear force structuring. So my guide in Osmania University was very happy with my MPhil dissertation, and he graded me outstanding in that. And he says, I was a colonel. He says, Colonel, why don't you do a PhD? I said, PhD and me, I never planned to do this much. But he kept me in touch with me. And then 2000 or 12 or so, later, 2000. 15, 16, a window opened when Osmania University offered PhDs to professionals, including army officers, bureaucrats, and this. So there was an opening for a PhD. So I went for an interview. I submitted my, entire prognosis, my, research philosophy, and all that. They really liked my idea. But I took admission as a proper student. So I did 4 5 years research, continuously going to the university and submitting my various seminars. And then finally, in February last year, I submitted my PhD thesis, and it got a very good rating, not only internally but from the external examiners who don't know me. Even I don't know where so then I was very happy to get a PhD. And it's a very interesting field, very interesting subject: geostrategy, geopolitics, use of nuclear weapons, and so more of academic research.
I can only imagine how interesting that must be. What is your opinion of current geopolitical situation about the countries with nuclear powers and energies?
See, it's still a very unfair system. The P5 and haves and have-nots, and India has been openly talking about it. They are not prepared to shed their nuclear arsenal, but don't want anyone else to, be able to produce nuclear weapons. I do believe nuclear weapons are not for war fighting, because in one use, the human has seen the horror of a nuclear strike. I can't imagine them being used again in scenario like this, but still they are hoarding thousands and thousands of them. So I feel we need these P5 to tone down, at least start reducing their nuclear arsenals. But that I don't see this happening. But now I thought, at least after 91, when the erstwhile USSR was breaking up and the Cold War was ending, things will cool down. And but then you see now we have tension almost all over. We have in South China Sea, we have Ukraine, Russia. Anytime the crisis can blow up into a full-scale war. Middle East is never stable. We continue to have some issue or the other. So I don't visualize a nuclear a war or a nuclear strike taking place at all. It is totally far-fetched. But conflicts in some form or the other, are continuing, and with China and Russia now getting closer, and USA having taken a beating in Afghanistan, wants to flex its muscles or try to retain the status it had of being a sole nuclear and sole power, sole superpower in the world. So I still see this kind of a thing is going to go on around India, but let's see how it shapes up. But yeah, I don't see too much of peace in looking in in future.
Geopolitics is very dear to my heart, and I could talk hours and hours, but I don't want to annoy our listeners and just remain with you. You mentioned the Dragon Strike. What is the genre of this book? Is it based on, what is it?
It was based on a fictitious account of a war that starts border war, which starts between India and China, and then Pakistan comes into that war. It was written by I think Humphrey Huxley. It came out sometimes in 2004 or 5. I didn't hear much about that book. Those days we used to among us talk and share and discuss the book. And it finishes with an Indian army offensive in the area of Punjab and Sindh of Pakistan, and India has achieved, and that is when there a collapse of the Pakistan military machinery takes place, and that is where the book ends. So it was a fictional account, but it made it interesting, but nothing more than that. Pure fiction.
And what I assume that you read a lot of books, and if you do, what are your favorite books that you have returned to or anything?
Yeah, see, I've read Laura almost all genres of. Initially, I was reading more into our own Indian literature, reading Rabindranath Tagore, reading Munshi Premchand, Sadat Hasan Manto, or Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Then reading Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru. Then I got into I liked some amazing books by Larry Collins and Dominic Lapierre on the Is Paris Burning, Oh Jerusalem, Freedom at Midnight. Those books excited me as a young man. And later on, now I really enjoy William Dalrymple. I've read almost all his books. My favorite is The Anarchy, which came out about a year 2 years back. The White Mughal, Return of the King. He's been writing, and now of course my immediate favorite is The Sapiens, Homo Deus. I just can't get over finished reading these books a few months back. In fact, I was so impressed with this books, The Sapiens, that when I was superannuating, I gifted 24 copies to my team. One copy each to all the people who are part of my team, an autographed copy from my side. That please read this book, The Sapiens. It tells you a lot about how, as a human race, we have come to this far, and his prognosis of what could happen in future. So this is, and now of course I'm reading about the 65 and 62 war, and on my YouTube channel I'm bringing Shiv Kunal Verma, who is a military historian of India, very 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 fine historian, to discuss these wars that India has fought after independence with him for the young generation.
I love to read foreign affairs. I'm subscribed and reading them regularly. What is your newspaper or magazine that you read religiously and would recommend to a common reader to get in? If people want to learn more about geopolitics, what would you recommend?
See, I do subscribe to a lot of email subscriptions of leading newspapers the world over, plus the NISA Center, Near East and South Asia Center of Strategic Studies in Washington D.C., of which I'm a alumni. They send me they do send a lot of papers that they write or they host on their platform. In India, I'm hooked on to the Indian Express. Indian Express, I just love the way they cover geopolitics, the way they cover India's role in it. And since I'm educating over 1 lakh children these days, I'm mentoring them, I'm teaching them current affairs, geopolitics, and India's role in the world. So I use a lot of Indian Express, the Hindu, these two newspapers. What they post on their papers. Of course, I other papers also. I'm open to almost everything, but these, and of course other people who are writing on these issues. I have no favorites, but Indian Express and Hindu, they are very good.
Sir, as you are mentioning about your YouTube channel, it's your second inning for the first inning of youth. Could you explain your motivation to start that and what are your future plans for this?
तन्मय, आपने बहुत बढ़िया सवाल पूछा. Actually, till May last year, मेरा ना पूरा यही था. I was publishing at least 2 to 3 articles a week, breakneck speed. I was writing whatever I want to, and I've written on almost all issues, those days. Then I was started to work on a book. Then I was consulting editor with the SP Guide Military Yearbook. It's a almost 600-700 page book which comes out. Is the best publication that comes out from India on the military, balance in the world. So I was a consulting editor for them. So that was keeping me busy. But in May last year, I was down with COVID, and I was in quarantine and isolation for 14 days. Then I was just thinking, yeah, man, what am I doing with my second innings? I still have so much of energy, so much to contribute. These writing articles and editing this, that, writing a book, that is probably not. That is when I got this idea of let me start a YouTube channel with leadership as a theme. So initially I made 10 videos on short videos on leadership, and with some little assistance from a young boy he was interning with me. So he would post them. After 10, I didn't know what to do. I said, yeah, 10 video hogi, bahut hai. What else can I contribute? But then one thing led to another thing, and slowly I was so thrilled when I had 1,000 subscribers. Then I made a video when I had 5,000 subscribers. Now when I had 50,000, I didn't even bother. And by then I had clocked 50 lakh views on my YouTube channel. And now it is a there's no channel in the country with my kind of content, which is on leadership, which is honest, which is talking of I speak on hate, I speak on religious interfaith harmony, I speak on current affairs, on regional issues the country is facing, the youth issues. Now there's no recruitment for. So I made a I reached out on that issue also. Now it is now I'm so many ideas. Every day I'm recording a video or the other, almost every day. And my team is now they've got so much of work that I'm ahead of them. I'm ahead of them. There are 2, 3 of them. So they are amazed. They are unable to match up with my energy sometimes. So that is how it is. Now it is a full-time thing. Other than where I'm educator on an academy, I'm going to take this forward. Next target is to bring prominent people to speak. So I have a series of more talks where I get a lot of people to from all strata of society. I had people who are vegans, to photographers, to adventure enthusiasts, to military officers to come and speak to young generation on my channel. Now I'm starting this war history series, and this is going to continue. This is now, it's not going to stop. This is a really very, very exciting phase.
Sir, what message would you like to give to the youth of our nation and the youth of the world?
See, for the youth of the nation, uh, uh, they have to be wary of the people who are leading them today. मैं कहता हूँ ये सब चले जाएंगे 15-20 साल में, ये होंगे नहीं. That is why many of them have no vision for you. But you, at least you are adults, you know where you will end up. In a country which has been hit so badly by COVID, and unemployment at its highest in last 20-30 years, what will you do if you get into this uh, you know religious debates? And today our schools and colleges are being turned into laboratories of hate. I'm really appalled. What is happening to these people? Who are these people? I shame on these parents who send their children, who allow their children. Now, हम जब स्कूल में थे, हमने कभी नहीं देखा कि ये साथ वाला मुस्लिम है, क्रिश्चियन है, सिख. ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन मेक आउट बाय द पगड़ी, बट वी नेवर फेल्ट सिख इज अ सेपरेट रिलीजन, नेवर एवर. And we knew each other by who's a better artist, who's better in maths, who's better in cross country, who's a better boxer. We never, but today, this religious ideologies, unfortunately, are hardening, and this is a worldwide phenomena, but it's very dangerous for us. I've studied this issue also very closely. In fact, I've seen what is happening to our neighbors in Pakistan. I've seen what it does to people in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, in Nepal. So somewhere something is wrong. So the youth must realize ki what is it? What is there for you? Will religion give you any answers? Has religion ever given any answers? Ever in history? More bloodshed has been caused by religion. So, and especially for India with a huge youth, bulge. We are the youngest country as far as population, the youngest country. And you see the scope of jobs. For government jobs, we have crores of people applying. So where will they become entrepreneurs in a modern society if they are fighting today on what headscarves to be wear, what should be the dress, and this kind of a thing? I've never seen it. It's very scary. So we need to. That is why people like me, who are veterans, must come up. People who believe in future of the youth, people who believe in idea of India is a secular, pluralistic India where unity and diversity, love each other's differences, and that makes India. That is India. So that is my advice to the youth, and I've stuck my neck out on this issue. Even if people troll me and give me some advice, I have stuck my neck out. I have taken my position. My position. Somebody said, "Whom are you batting for?" I said, "I'm batting for India, and I will continue to bat for India, the idea of India." So my advice to youth is, please stay away from religion. Organized religion has never solved any problem. If you have some issues, please keep it at home. Just that is, religion should be, faith should be something very, very personal, something close to your heart. Don't carry it to classrooms, don't carry it to jobs, don't carry it to the streets of India. you know this is really so this is my message to young people, and more I'm going to speak on this issue, Tanmay. इस पे तो मैं बात करूंगा खूब नौजवानों के साथ, और मेरी क्लास में बच्चे, दे आर सो, इफ यू someday I'll send you a link, you attend my class, my live class that I take, and you see the josh among the youth. you know all of them are saying, sir, you opened our eyes after we have got in touch with you. So that is our role, and that is my advice to the young people and the older people. Please stay away. घर में बैठ जाओ. That is better. Take care of your grandchildren now. Don't try to teach us or this young generation whether you have to wear a hijab or you have to wear a scarf, or you have to shout this slogan, that slogan. None of these slogans can solve any problem of India. And imagine in Karnataka, in Karnataka, North mein ho to at least we saw partition, some trauma partition still stays. But why in Karnataka? Why coastal Karnataka? Imagine what message are we giving to the international community? This is the place where the IT industry was born in India. And these children should be looking at, uh, carrying that legacy forward of Narayan Murthy, Infosys, of Azim Premji, of Wipro. These are the role models we need to follow, and not any people who just spew venom when they speak. So that is my message, Tanmay, to young India, and to also people abroad who listen to this podcast whenever, that please stay away from religion. That is one thing. I just stay away from organized religion. spirituality okay, but religion in the present form is dangerous.
Sir, we celebrate Swami Vivekananda's birthday for the youth. And as you're talking about religion, he was the person to bring together all the religions in Boston and talk about it. What are your favorite quotes from Swami Vivekananda?
See, I have his entire collection, Swami Vivekanand, and what I liked about him was, that firstly he was highly educated. When he was a college student, those days attending college, first he read the entire Western philosophy. He read the entire Western philosophy, and then he went into Indian philosophy, and then he looked for a mentor and a guru, and that he found in Ramakrishna Paramhans. When he asked him, "Have you seen God?" And then of course I've seen how he traveled across India, and a person born in Bengal of those days wears a Rajasthani safa, a Rajasthani dress. His attire is Rajasthani. So Maharaja of Khetri is the one who gives him this pagadi, a Rajasthani pagadi. So this man represents India, and he traveled Europe, came back here, and he spoke of scientific temper. He spoke of the answer to India's problem lies in education and science, and on other religions. I really can't quote any line at this moment, but he spoke of amalgamation of all religions. And I think he was one of the most tolerant person. And if people who put his DP read even half a page about him, I think that will do a good to them.
Sir, what are your wishes for the generations to come?
I'm looking at an India which is prosperous, an India where we can lift poverty. It is really after 75 years of India. नाम हम बड़े अच्छे रख लेते हैं, ये मना रहे हैं, वो मना रहे हैं. But today also we have 30 to 35% of our population below poverty line, or in very abysmal state. So future of India lies in pulling its people out of poverty. And we should not look at becoming superpower, becoming a nuclear power, becoming this, that. India will automatically become whatever we have to become if our poor people are lifted out of poverty. That is the challenge. That is a challenge we are going to face. And automatically, once people come out of economic development takes place, tolerance automatically comes in. People become, the idea of India becomes more brighter. So that is what I feel. I feel we need to lift people out of poverty and provide jobs to them, provide livelihood to them. That is challenge for India, and that is what we should be looking. That is a leadership we want. Somebody who shows us कि next 10 15 20 साल हम कहाँ देश को लेके जाएंगे. And one single quality, Tanmay, that is required in a leader is vision, nothing else. Vision. That is why a leader is elected. Vision.
Thank you, sir. We will strive to achieve that. So let us talk about mental health now. What tips would you like to give on toughness and grit?
Yeah, grit is one of my favorite subjects to talk of. Grit, mental health, overthinking. Uh, this is a issue now. Now it is real. We can't. In my generation, we could ignore. This is real issue, and no longer can it be swept under the carpet. We need to address it, and the internet is making it worse. Internet is making it worse. The lockdowns are making it worse. Schools, colleges closed. I'm surprised. We have rallies, we have religious festivals, we have everything going. But 2 years of college lost, no jobs, future in dark. So I can imagine young adolescents do have mental issues, and that is where mentors like me come in. We need to talk to them. Talk to them in a free and frank environment. Emphasis more on fitness. Yoga is amazing. Cycling, running. COVID can't stop physical activity, but with schools closed, we stopped even this. How can you close stadiums? Gyms were the first to get closed. And young people, let them go and burn some calories and all. So while we need to focus on mental health, In this budget, the finance minister has spoken of mental health issue. So I'm glad this issue is being spoken now. We need to address it, and we need to basically, mental health is nothing but talking. We need to talk to young people, talk to them. I think that is way forward.
Sir, what would you like to suggest for a winning mindset?
Yeah, for a winning mindset, I think you need to cultivate this very early, the winning habit. In fact, I think you've seen some of my videos where I bring about stories of grit and determination. So many of them I bring. That's my favorite. Absolutely, I keep whatever I've read earlier. I brought the story of Roger Bannister, how everybody had given up that the 1 mile record, 1600-meter record will never be. No human will ever break the 4 minute barrier, and this medical student does it without any coach. So winning as a habit, and to cultivate this habit, it can be done if you're a positive person. If you're a positive person, you're a passionate person. If you have that steel in you, uh, you know and most of it in my life, it has come from self motivation. You have to have some reservoir somewhere which you can dig out when chips are down, and move forward. So winning as a habit is very important, and this comes from cooperation. And I always give an example of how to cultivate winning as a habit from Stephen Covey. He speaks a lot, or he has written a lot about how you can cultivate this habit in young people, being proactive and being winners. And so, yeah.
Yes, sir. We have another episodes which where we discuss books. So, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by the same author, Stephen Covey. So, he's an amazing author. Sir, how do you deal with fear if you're on front line fighting, and as an army man, you have come across many situations like this. What tips would you like to give us to deal with fear?
See, fear, you can't deny fear, and fear is normal. It is natural. But what you can train yourself is to work from hope of success rather than fear of failure. Too many times too many times as we are growing up, the insecurities of our life, or insecurities of our parents or our environment, this I'm talking of fear, different kind. I'll speak about combat fear later. So this fear of failure, it makes you underachiever. That is why, imagine, why should a student who's doing a BSc or MSc apply for a class 4 job, or try and get some government job, because there's a fear of failure कि आगे पता नहीं कुछ बनेंगे नहीं बने यार, कुछ भी कुछ छोटी मोटी नौकरी कर लेते हैं गवर्नमेंट की नौकरी. Fear of failure. Hope of success is not there. This realization कि नहीं यार, let's फाइट करेंगे, ये नहीं तो कुछ और मिलेगा, ये नहीं तो कुछ और मिलेगा. So that hope of success somehow is missing. Now, coming to combat, where I've been in many occasions where it was question of life and death. That time, as a leader, you can't exhibit fear, and you got to be the first to move. And people who move, मेरा formula बड़ा simple formula है. If you are mobile, you chance of getting hit are less. So mobility is mental and physical mobility. And that is what maneuver teaches you. Small maneuver, even if you have a team of 4 people, you got to maneuver to get into a position, in a better position to consolidate or fire, or safer position. So this is what I've seen, that fear is real, but in a team where you support each other, it is just a question of time when somebody moves forward. So as a leader, you have to move forward. You can't exhibit fear. And then I've seen our troops are amazing. They will surprise you. But if you show fear, then it goes down in the rank and file. So as a leader, you got to be show a brave front. And after some time क्या होता है तन्मय, पहली बार थोड़ा डर ज्यादा लगता है, दूसरी बार कम लगता है, तीसरी बार और कम लगता है. Then you get used to hearing this firing of AK-47, or this is a light machine gun firing, this is a medium machine gun firing, how far the firing is taking place, and how you use ground at that time, how you use each other's support. So the small team tactics, this really comes handy. So that is how at least I was able to beat back fear and beat back chances of failure.
Sir, you have been awarded the Sena Medal and the Army Chief Commendation Certificate for fighting in the counter-terrorist operations in South Kashmir and Punjab and previous Jammu Kashmir region. Could you share some story from those days, sir?
Yeah, I have many stories. Many of them are are published also. I have Tanmay. I worked on two spectrums, especially in my last combat assignment in Rashtra Rifles. One was my own my education as a person, how I'm evolving as a leader in a combat zone. So first thing I did was that I had said I have to get close to people. I can't have a situation where I antagonize people and people don't look at me as their own. So मैंने ये वहां शुरू किया था, ये तुम्हारी फौज है. मैं कश्मीरियों को बोलता था ये तुम्हारी फौज है, आपकी फौज है. And to get close to them, to know them better, there's a very famous article written by me, shared by lakhs of people and read, how I kept rosas when the month of Ramadan came. ये मेरे लिए बड़ी स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी थी अपने आप में. बीइंग एन एथिस्ट आई कैन adopt any religion wherever I find something good, any book, any prophet. So I read the prophet's biography, and I got this idea of doing rosas. So I kept 5 rosas that month, and I ensured each. I requested my own troops, कि यार एक 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 रोजा रखो कश्मीरियों के लिए, और देखो एक एक्सपीरियंस करके देखो कि 15-16 घंटे भूखा रहना और इस तरीका का करना, हाउ इट क्लिंजेस यू मेंटली एंड फिजिकली. सो दैट वाज, and then of course I read the Quran, and that gave me a lot of strength, inner strength, moral strength. It gave me, I'm telling you, it gave me a lot of moral strength to be able to do that, guts to do that. This was real moral courage. So that was one side. The extreme affectionate with people, kindness with people, treating them as our own citizens, and of course going into the searching the hearts and minds of there are citizens, there are people. So I have no, that's why you could see I have no hate for somebody, what he wears, what food he eats, what religion he follows, because we in the army at least, we don't believe in all that. So that was one part. The other part, Tanmay, I worked was on doing crack small team operations, on cultivating good intelligence and finding out where these guys are. And I'm telling you, me and my team, and of course with other people around us, we actually broke the back of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Harkatul Jihad-e-Islami, both Pakistani sponsored organizations with many Pakistani citizens being eliminated by us. And we went to such places they could never ever imagine army people could be confronting them in those heights, in those places. So we really searched them out. And who helped us? The people, the Kashmiri people. एक बहुत famous, we had killed a Pakistani Lashkar-e-Toiba battalion commander, and in his diary, he had written in Urdu, कश्मीरी हमारे रहबर भी और हमारे कातिल भी. ये मैं भूल नहीं सकता, ये मेरे को नींद नहीं आई बहुत दिनों तक कि कश्मीरी हमारे रहबर भी हमारे कातिल भी. So if we are, and as an army, we are nothing if the local people are not with us. So local support of local people, our own strength. So at one extreme of the spectrum is total kindness, love, affection, regard, and respect for local people. On the other is digging these people out, the terrorists, wherever they are, cultivating this. So we were able to eliminate and break the back of all these organizations in those days in the interiors of in South Kashmir, and that gave us, that as a soldier gave me A lot of awards don't matter much. I've never hankered for any awards. I believe in Gita. Just do apna karm karo, fal ki ichha mat karo. You will get reward in some form or the other.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure we'll get to hear many more stories on your YouTube channel. So
Yeah, yeah.
my next question, sir, would be, what is the most important achievement for yourself in throughout your life?
I don't know. I don't know. But I think nobody's asked me this question. I think my best is yet to come. I think my best is yet to come. I'm looking forward to next contributing next 10, 15 years in many areas. So I feel ki I have lot to go, miles to go. But till now, if you ask me, I think the love and affection that I've got from my men that I've commanded, oh, it gladdens my heart. That is my biggest reward. Oh, amazing, amazing love, respect, adulation from the soldiers that I've commanded. I think nothing more I could have asked. Then, when I meet them now, they call me up. So that I think is my winning hearts and minds of my own. Not in a structured form, but purely out of my own style of working. That Tanmay would be my biggest achievement.
That's very nice to hear, sir. So let us talk about this your project, Save the Himalayas. Could you share more about that, sir?
Yeah, Save the Himalayas is a as an NGO which is established by Bhikkhu Sangha Sena. Bhikkhu Sangha Sena is an amazing monk who was a soldier in Ladakh Scouts. Very interesting. He was a soldier in Ladakh Scouts, and after about 5 years of service, decided to become a monk. And once he became a monk, he came back to Ladakh and established an international meditation center known as Mahabodhi International Meditation Center. So he's a monk who's deeply connected to environment. So when I was GOC there, that is the time I got in touch with him, and we became very good friends, and we are very good friends. So when he knew ki I would be, you know superannuating very soon. So he established this and he said, General, this is your baby. You have to take care of this. I am getting old, and I know your love for the flora and fauna and the Himalayan region. So that is how this NGO Save the Himalayas have been founded. And we are basically concerned about the fragile ecology of the Himalayas. We have only one Himalayas. We have only one Himalayas, and everyone in South Asia, everyone, all the countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Bhutan, all of us, entire India, all of us are in some way dependent on Himalayas. So if we don't protect the Himalayas, then having nuclear weapons or having submarines, all this will be waste, because we are already water stressed, and this region requires a lot of care, responsible tourism, and things like that. So we are working on many fronts, on solar energy, on responsible tourism, on saving the very fragile ecology of that area. So because of COVID, we couldn't progress more, but now we are planning to have make it international. Absolutely, have our chapters in Nepal and Bhutan and other countries. Then look at Himachal Pradesh and look at Northeast and look at Ladakh, and encourage young people to go and visit these areas. Young Indians from plains, from South India, to do internship with us and go and visit these areas. Go and travel, trek these areas, meet local people, and then take this message back home when you go. So that is, in nutshell, what Save the Himalayas Foundation is all about.
Thank you, sir. How can the listeners today and the listeners of podcast contribute to this initiative?
Yeah, they can contribute. We are once we update our a website, then of course we will open up not only internship, we'll open up for donations also for CSR, so that if we have to launch projects in far-flung areas, help the poor people there, all that will start. As of now, we are only going to start internship for college students to go and visit these areas. But this is an organization which people will hear in times to come, once we get our team going on this.
Thank you, sir. Audience, we'll be opening the stage for questions after this question. So please raise your hand. We'll bring you to the stage. And just a disclaimer, this is being recorded for podcast. And all, if you want to see all links that sir has mentioned and all get all the his links of social network, we'll be attaching those in the show notes. And all our podcasts are available on Spotify with the name Rocklaz Radio. So you can check that out. You can raise your hand and we'll bring you up on the stage. Sir, you talked about books. What are your favorite movies?
Very good question. Oh, I've watched so many movies now. Of course, don't get that much of time, but yeah, I like to watch a lot of sports-based movies, and I like to watch. My latest favorite movie was Invictus, on Nelson Mandela's life. That was thrilling, and in our genre, you know, movies like Prahar, and movies like Lakshay, and of course, I was a big fan of Vidya Sinha and Amol Palekar, and so a lot of movies, Rajni Gandha and Choti Si Baat, and growing up, those movies were, or Sham Benegal, Shabana Azmi. They brought some amazing movies. But as of now, I don't really get that much of time to watch movies.
Okay. Those who want to ask questions and are new to Twitter Spaces, there is a mic button on the bottom left. If you press that, we can bring you up. Sir, what is on your bucket list next?
Uh, Next is this March. We have to bring this book, Men of Steel, Not Straws in the Wind, which I'm doing with Jan Leke Singh. We are co-editors in this book, and we've got some amazing people to write on military leadership in India. So that will come out. After that, my own book, which is lagging behind, my own book on my experiences, that has to come. And finally, someday, Tanmay, my top on my bucket list, which will happen in 2 3 years maybe, is to get a series, a web series, on a OTT platform, like Netflix or on Amazon or somewhere, where actually all these small anecdotes I've given you, they can be filmed, they can be written and then produced for young people to see in a very honest and candid manner. So that I don't know whether it happened or not, but yes, certainly that is high on my my bucket list. Yeah. Make a web series of all these experiences.
So we are definitely looking forward to that. Sir, you say traveling is an investment, but as COVID has happened and everybody travel has reduced for everyone, and new channels for meeting people like we are communicating through spaces has opened up, and also there are gadgets which give you a virtual experience of seeing the landscape or going to tourism spots. So what, why do you think people should travel now? Because everything is already available now on internet.
No. This is no substitute. Like when we over 20 years back, when internet came, they said abhi akhbar bekar ho jayega, you will get digital everything, and that is the future. But newspaper industry is thriving. When Kindle came, people said, "अभी hard copy books कौन print करेगा, कौन किताब खरीदेगा?" But books are in great demand. People are still reading them. ऐसे ही traveling है. Unless you sit in a train or a ship or an aircraft, go there and travel, no amount of 3D 4D or anything can give you that experience. So traveling in COVID times, I think in India there's such amazing places. And to young people, I tell you कि अगर travel नहीं किया, देश नहीं देखा तो कुछ नहीं देखा. There's so much to do, so much to witness and travel. So traveling is a great learning experience. For me, it is the biggest investment you can do in your own life. So there's no substitute. Internet is not a substitute for traveling, physical traveling at all.
Yes, sir, I totally agree with you, but I had to ask that question because we are in the NFT community and there's a lot of talk about metaverse and having physical avatars and all those things. I personally have traveled most of the India, north, west, central, and south. Just the eastern is remaining. It got postponed due to COVID. Laura has also traveled widely, 20, 15 to 20 countries. She herself speaks 7 languages. So
Oh,
yes,
wow.
we definitely, yes, we definitely consider traveling as an investment. So do guys do check it out. Let us plan your trips. And what I would additionally say is, sir, the interaction which you have with local people, the food you taste, the music or the smell you get, all those things cannot never be replaced. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing can replace, uh, you know, actual physically walking. And when you go to a place, please don't sit in a car and travel. Just walk or hire a cycle. Just walk and hire a cycle. There is only two ways, or a bike, if you're long distances you have to travel. So I remember first time, I was in Paris in '93, and we were there for 3 days. And in 3 days, we may have clocked about 20-30 kilometers of walking. We saw the city just walking. I can never forget. I did same with Washington DC and New York and Cape Town and many good places that I was lucky to go. Everywhere, I even now nothing like walking through the streets, and that is what always remains with you. Then you really see people, and you observe. So being observant and seeing a place, as you mentioned, the smell, the cuisine, the food. And they say, if you're fond of beer, please have local beer. Always have local beer.
What are some of the happiest moments in your life?
Oh, there are plenty of them. uh, First of all, you know uh, mm, getting commissioned in the army from being a soldier's son and from village. That was great. A lot of happiness to me and to my parents. And then each stage in life, in spite of many failures and downs, uh, going to the United Nations mission, then traveling through Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, those are great moments. Then the achievements we were able to do in South Kashmir. Then, of course, doing my PhD. This gave me a lot of happiness to hold that, certificate in my hand. Uh, After it was, they had said, "Ki, yes, you have cleared now. You can write doctorate." That gave me a lot of happiness. And now, what I'm doing, when I see my YouTube channel, it gives me so much of happiness. When I read the comments, when I answer comments, so they're surprised. I still find time to answer them. Then Instagram, Instagram, we clocked more than 40,000 followers in a short span of time. And there again, I try and answer almost every serious question. I answer personally on Instagram also. All this gives me happiness.
Thank you, sir. We have Chota Sipahi with us. It translates to young soldier.
Yeah.
Uh, please go ahead and ask your question. Introduce yourself.
हाँ, मेरा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है। मैं सर से इतना इंस्पायर हुआ जब वो मेरे ब्रिगेड कमांडर थे 23 आई के। वहाँ पे मैं एक सिपाही था और इनकी इंस्पायरेशन से मतलब एजुकेशन में क्या पावर है, वो चीज़ में इनसे जो मैंने मेरे बचपन में मिस की थी और इनसे मैंने सीखा, और इन्हीं की बदौलत आज मेरा बेटा सैनिक स्कूल चित्तौड़गढ़ में पढ़ रहा है, क्योंकि ये भी बोर्डिंग स्कूल आरएमएस के स्टूडेंट रहे हैं और ये हमेशा इंस्पायर करते रहे कि किताबें पढ़िए। और मैं सिर्फ ये थैंक यू मैसेज था मेरा, कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है जलन मोर को। और
अरे
मतलब
बालाजी, आपने
कोई उनसे
सरप्राइज दे दिया
मिलेगा
मेरे
ना,
को।
कोई कोई उनसे मिलेगा ना, तो वो उन्हें भूल नहीं सकता सर। ये इतने एनर्जेटिक पर्सन हैं।
थैंक यू बालाजी। कौन सी यूनिट में थे आप?
मैं
Sir,
सिक्सटी
that
नाइन
नहीं
was
था,
यूनिट में था
I
सर।
think I was not the
हाँ,
I
बहुत
didn't
यूनिट में था सर, मैं 63 केवल थी।
ओह 63 कैवलरी, ओके ओके, वेरी गुड,
हाँ, जनरल
बहुत बढ़िया।
केजे सर की। और
हाँ
आप
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
हाँ, जनरल केजे सर ने भी मुझे बहुत इंस्पायर किया, और मत पूछिए कि आपने जिंदगी बदल
आपका
दी मेरी।
नाम क्या है सर? आपका नाम क्या है?
उमेश झादरिया नाम है सर मेरा।
हाँ सर,
ओके
मुझे
ओके,
yes.
ठीक है।
So,
हाँ,
just a little translation for English listeners. The person asking question thanked him for leading his unit, and he had thanked for his children and lot of thank you wishes. Okay, next we have Mr. Balaji. Could you please introduce yourself and ask your question?
good evening, General Moore sir. It's a pleasure, and more than a pleasure, it's a privilege talking to you. Couldn't actually never visualize that after seeing so many of your YouTube videos, would finally get an opportunity to have a one-on-one tete-a-tete with you. Thanks, and a privilege. Uh, my question to you, more from a security perspective. So, isn't the time has come for a military engagement, in the sense that with Pakistan, where it's better if our military can engage with their military on a conversation, rather than, I mean, it's right now on a DGMO basis, that too on a hotline. If we kind of some kind of a engagement with Pakistan on a military basis, on a military level, would that be an icebreaker so that we can mend our fences sooner rather than late?
Wonderful. Balaji, really appreciate. Wonderful. This is the first time I'm hearing somebody recommend this. This is amazing. And I'm telling you, when I was a colonel, we had recommended this. We had recommended this. And many people in the military hierarchy were convinced. We were able to convince them, sir, let's engage Pakistan Army on one. Let's have army to army talks with Pakistan Army. Let's invite them here for an international seminar and talk to them. This, but somehow, क्या होता है हमारे, when it comes to Pakistan and all, there are layers and layers of bureaucracy, leadership, and foreign ministry, and somebody or the other can always shoot down these proposals. But this is really wonderful recommendation that you have given, and this is the need of the time. Militaries must speak to each other, and militaries carry diplomacy in an amazing manner. The Navy does it so much. So Navy, Army, Air Force, all three of us, especially Army to Army, a lot of issues can be solved if Pakistan Army understands us and we understand them. Thank you for this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think it would even eventually, it could even lead to a thaw in the relationship eventually,
Yeah,
because the subcontinent is connected, sir. I mean, we are
yeah,
all are same people. I mean, our enemy. I mean, if Europe can come together, why not Indian subcontinent, sir?
absolutely. Our answer lies in that. You don't know how much we are suffering because of we are unable to trade through Pakistan. The loss is so humongous for a nation like us. Imagine we can't trade with Afghanistan, we can't trade with Central Asia because for 50 years we are unable to get go through the Pakistan continental shelf.
Hmm.
This is really amazing. We are losing out markets. We are losing out such amazing opportunity. We lost out so much in this mad enmity. So absolutely, we need to talk to them. We can't have enemies on both sides of our border. And Pakistan, same DNA, same language, same food, same music, same movies. Everything is same. Then why do we carry this?
when we can trade with China with with border with eye to eye with soldiers standing eye to eyeball to eyeball, why not with Pakistan, sir?
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a great, sir. All the best, sir. Thank you, and it's you are really inspiring for all of us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll have Mr. Manish. Can you?
Hi, Tanmay. Thank you so much for allowing us. Major General Moore, sir, thank you so much. And it's an absolute privilege to hear you in a live broadcast, live space. And I do have a question. It's not pretty much related to what is the topic like leadership or UN peacekeeping, but it's something different. And it's not something that's regional. It's a global thing, which I feel like, and I'm not sure if army have some some thoughts around this. There must be something, but then probably I can get some views from an expert. So I've always been thinking nowadays with all this modernization in the army, there have been lots of investments, right? The army budgets are really increasing every year. It's not only for India, but it's true for rest of the world. And most of these things are really something that's routine improvement, right? So like developing new systems, developing new equipments, testing them to the large scale so that we are prepared for any unwanted situation. How does this cost to the climate, and what are the process like, is there any thoughts behind this? Because climate change is equally very concerning, and I'm pretty sure you will agree, because you said something about you are trying to have some project around the Himalayas. So that's somewhere it touches that part as well. So the general army improvement, do we really consider how much it costs to the climate? I'm not saying about any war time situation, but in general. And like what's your thoughts around, and how do you think of this? Thank you.
Yeah, Manish, very good question. Very, very good question. You know, I don't know, when there is a conflictless situation, say there's a standoff with China, or the no war, no peace scenario which we have with Pakistan continuously for now more than 70 years. There we really think of this or not, but otherwise, militaries, especially Indian military, and so also others, are very, very concerned on this. And at our own level, at the unit level and the formation level, we take massive efforts on plantation. We take massive efforts on, we have the equipment sometimes on, if you have to create bunds, if you have to see that there is a fragile area, there's a landslide that can take place, protecting that place, uh, creating waterways, and preserving the, the flora and fauna. So a lot of education takes place in this, in our courses, in our training, in our curriculum. So we are very alive to this. We are very, very alive to environment, and the cost of military deployment in these areas of weapons and equipment, creating roads in for heavier equipment to move. It all has an impact on the climate. So we are alive to it. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It definitely came out, like this question came out because we have really witnessed a number of landslides in last few years. It really cost us many lives, and then it's not something that's only because of the what you say infrastructure modernization, but then presence of army, say in the positions like Siachen, or maybe like across the world, there might be many others like similar kind of environmental situation, which is pretty much we should leave it to as it is. I know the diplomatic situation is not pretty much alike, so it's definitely not really what do you say a question like how do we manage that part. But climate, because it is going to impact, or it is actually impacting all of us in our daily lives. So that's where this question came around. uh, you have tried, but I'm not sure like whether I have got my answer. I'll definitely look forward to this, and probably I'll connect with you via YouTube or some other channels to understand this a bit more. Thanks again.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manish. Our next question will be from Mr. Shantanu. Are you there, sir?
Hi, Tanmay. First of all, good evening, all, and thank you very much for hosting such a beautiful session. I'm following General Morsar for some days in the Insta, as well as, and we need more people like you. We heard a famous catchy line, the Dil Mange More, from one of our Parambir Chakra and the brave of the Indian Army. But I can say we need more like you, Dil Mange More. We'll start with that. I have a couple of questions, sir. First, how do you see that people passing out from the college uh, should be working in the uniform service or give the uniform service at least for 1 year or 2 years to inculcate the civic sense and the discipline as a mandatory, and after that they have the option to choose whatever the stream they would like to carry on. And the point number 2 is, how do you see the solar energy in the army bases to utilize and give back to the nature? I know that frontline I'm not going there because there are different other climatic challenges. We have to deal with that. We have to be a bit pragmatic. But wherever our peace stations and wherever, because army is such a disciplined, organized, and well-capable unit, can be a great example, and especially subcontinent like us, blessed with the sunshine. So if we can utilize and create something exemplary for the entire world. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shantanu. Thank you very much. First question, and I think you mean towards hinting towards compulsory or 1 or 2 years tour or duty kind of with
Sir.
the attachment with the army. In a
Sir.
country like ours, it is desirable but not possible. The logistics and the cost incurred and the benefits are very few. I would rather encourage young people to join NCC.
Right, sir.
Rather encourage young people. NCC, as it is growing, and that is our Prime Minister's laudable aim also to grow the National Cadet Corps. So that
Sir.
is where, but Army cannot handle lakhs and lakhs of young to come for a year and go back and all. It's not logistically, administratively not possible.
Sir.
Otherwise, our own training and everything else will suffer. So that is part one. Part two, as far as solar is concerned, yeah, no doubt. We are using solar energy. Most of our now, any construction that takes place in any military base, it has to have solar content. And solar projects are now priority one. I myself, in last 5-6 years, seen projects which were sanctioned and now working smoothly. So all over, from Ladakh to Rajasthan to South India, everywhere, there's no doubt solar energy has to be, has to be utilized to maximum, and a lot of investment is going into a lot of investment. Most military stations, you'll find a solar farm or a solar, project either already completed or in the process of completion.
Thank you very much, sir. I got my answer, and it's a real privilege to talk to you in live.
Thank you. Tanmay, I think time for us to
yes,
call
sir.
it a day.
Yes, there is one last person to ask a question, Mr. Sangam. Then we can conclude.
Okay.
Thank you, host sir. Jai Hind, Yash Mor sir.
Hi, Sangam.
Yes, sir. So, sir, introducing myself, I work for the Indian Express, and I basically write on politics and international relations.
Oh, my
Yes, sir.
favorite paper.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Mine also. Sir, my question is regarding the role of women in army. The NDA has permitted to induct women cadets from this year. So, sir, although I'm for the women getting equal opportunity like men, but sir, if you hear the opposing views of the women getting roles in the army, it seems equally convincing. The one of the top arguments I get that our armies primarily come from rural areas, so they are not habitual of seeing women in leadership role. So this might impact the working of army. Another argument I get to hear mainly on Twitter Spaces and social media as well. So that we are facing Pakistan, and they also are primarily rural army. So they treat women differently, and deploying women in the front line maybe something not desirable. So what's your thought on this, sir? I just wanted to get your perspective on this matter. Thank you, sir.
See, one fact is that women entry in the army or air force or navy has come through courts. That should point out many things. None of them, no service has ever agreed ki yes. So when they came in 91, 92, they came through court. Now also it is a court, Supreme Court of India, which cajoled, pushed and ordered ki take them. And we are taking now, of course, this is beginning. I'm okay with it. But they will still be in combat support arms or support services. In no way, as of now, we are ready to induct them into infantry, into mechanized infantry, in armored corps, special forces. Still not possible. So the second part, I'm not worried. Pakistan and all, they also have women. We are same people. घर में सबकी माएं हैं, बहनें हैं. I don't. That is a far-fetched, more of a you know thing that वो नहीं होने उसका कोई डिस्कस भी नहीं होता है फौज में. But see, we have no women soldiers. We only everybody wants to be officer. What about women soldiers? So I have no doubt that women will perform, given right role and right kind of equipment and training and all. But we are only having them as officers. We just inducted few women in military police. That is just because we need women in military police in certain roles and all that. That is about all. So it's not a so equal means we can't have half ND of girls, and physical standards are different. In OT also physical standards are different. Then service conditions also, though they do a good job. So many women officers have served with me in my team in last 20 years. I don't deny them, but women have certain roles. They have to get married, they have to become mothers, they have to take care of families. Imagine in a unit where there are two officers or three officers, a logistic unit, and woman goes away on 7 8 months, 6 months of maternity leave, then childcare leave, then annual leave. What happens to the male officers in that unit? What does that poor guy go? Where does he go? How does that unit run? So these are huge challenges. Looks very nice. Bollywood को देख के इसको देख के यार हम ऐसे करेंगे वैसे करेंगे, women and all equal. Okay, equal, but really there are other areas they can do very well. They can do very well in intelligence. They can do very well in photo interpretation. They can do very well in where technology is involved. Those are the areas. हर एक ने राइफल पकड़ के मोर्चे में ही बढ़ना है क्या? मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा. Can a woman share a sleeping bag with a soldier on a long range patrol? Is it possible? Is it possible? Not India ki chhod do, not even in America it's possible. Not even those armies women have cleared the rangers course or the commando course and things like that. So okay, I have no their enthusiasm amazing. I'm mentoring thousands of young girls to join the NDA and the IMA and all this. The enthusiasm, I have no doubts. But look at the conditions on ground and physical fitness. Finally, they have to get married and be mothers also. That is also a part of their life or no. So so these are issues, these are challenges for the units which have women officers. So long periods of absence, you come as short service, and that if you have to be away from 1 year or so because of your other issues, what happens to the unit? Who takes care of your work? It has to be that other male officer. No? What about if his wife is also delivering at that time and he has to go home? Then how does a unit run? So we can't equate. Totally equation will take long time, but it's a welcome move, and let us see how they perform. Can we have the same standards of fitness, same standards in other things? As young officers, they perform amazingly. I have not I will admit that. But again, going on patrols, going on long range duties, being on a post with 5 men, 4 men, all that, I don't think. Then they have their other issues also, of hygiene, sanitation. If you and me can actually, we have lived with men sharing the same foxhole, and we can go down behind a bush and ease ourselves. But when there's a woman in your team, then there are many other factors one has to take care of. So these are real issues. So of course, logistics, they will be there. There's no doubt they're doing a good job there. So that is, Sangam, my honest feedback to you.
Thank you for your question. Thank you for your answer, sir. Can we just take one more question? It is from a youth, and I couldn't deny him. He's a young student.
Okay.
Mr. Archit, can you ask a short, quick question to?
Yes, sir. Jai Hind, sir. I am a student studying in Dehradun and aspiring to join the Indian Armed Forces. Sir, my question is that in the span of last 10 years or 12 years, uh, have India extended its position in UN Security Council to get the permanent seat, or it has declined? What's your view, or it is stable for longer run? So how it is in that view, India, how India has managed its position in the world level?
See, Chit, we were speaking about this a few years back. Now we no longer speak about it because the P5 are just not prepared to bring about any reforms in UN. Unfortunately, UN and all the organizations that were created, they are quite rigid in their structure and their in the way they work. So we have, several, groups. We are part of, the P4 who ought to be admitted in the UN Security Council as permanent members. There are discussions whether we can have permanent members without veto or expand the P5 to P10 or P15. You can't deny a country like India or Germany or Brazil or Japan. Why shouldn't they be Australia? Why shouldn't they be part of and you have much smaller countries just because they were on the right side of history in 45 doesn't make them to remain in that throat. So UN, whenever it reforms, whenever it happens, so India is not hankering now. We have other issues with us. We just, if we keep saying kar do, it doesn't, it is nobody is going to listen to us. So as of now, we are just waiting for the P5 to put their minds together, who have the veto and who are actually taking all decisions to expand the UN Security Council. But sooner or later, it will happen. We should wait for our time. I'm sure you will see India as part of UN Security Council when you grow up.
Let's hope so, sir. Thank you very much for your time today, sir. What words would you like to conclude with?
Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you, Laura. Wonderful. This first time I've come on this platform. Enjoyed interacting, answering your questions. Wonderful experience. Wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really inspiring for us to hear you. And yes, Laura, I see you, Mike.
Thank you, sir, for being here with us, and thank you for sharing your experience, and all the best luck with your upcoming TV series.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in.
Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Clubhouse to get updates on the new shows and participate on live recordings. All the links are mentioned in the show notes.
We will be back next week with another fantastic episode.